Well, boys and girls, we're going to take a look at Chapter 7, Lesson 4 today. This is one of those hands-on lessons that we'll take a look at it, and then we'll move on to just doing the representational to use just the numbers. Not really that difficult, but it is important to see why these things are happening. We are multiplying a fraction times a fraction, which if you've been following along and putting that whole number on top of 1, nothing's going to change for you. So let's take a look at question number 1. We are on page 439. 439. Now they're asking us to have some colored pencils. We're just going to kind of shade as we go into our extra spaces here on our actual page 439. Jane is making reusable grocery bags and lunch bags. She needs 3/4 yard of cloth. Now, I told you when we first started, of means to multiply. To make a grocery bag, to make a lunch bag, she needs 2/3 of the cloth. How much cloth does she need to make a lunch bag? So 2/3 of what she needs for a grocery bag. So this is a less than one fraction. So my number, how much I need, is going to be less than what I need, because a lunch bag is smaller than a grocery bag. So that makes sense. They're asking us to take a piece of paper. So I'm going to draw a piece of paper over here. And they want us to fold it vertically, that's up and down, into 4 equal parts. So there's 2 parts. Now I have 3 parts and 4 parts. And they want us to shade it, and they're saying shade it in yellow. So I'll just use this highlighter here and do 3 parts of it in yellow. So now going back to my pen, it says then we're going to fold the paper into 3 equal parts the other way. And then we would color 3 of those, and they say blue. So I'm going to switch to the highlighter and go to blue. And what we would do is we would count the ones that are this double color. So if you see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are double colors out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 6 out of 12 are double colors. So how many rectangles are formed by all the paper? That's 12. And what fraction of the whole sheet of paper does one rectangle equal? And that's 1/12. And if we count them up, we got 6/12. Now taking a look here, it says count the ones that are shaded twice. Let's just take a look at multiplying this straight across, and you're going to see this. 2 times 3 is that 6, and then 3 times 4 is 12. Now, I want you to take a look here. This should be something that's starting to click in that head. We can simplify that. 6 is half of 12. If you have that simplifying chart, you can take a look at that as well to help you out. So it should be a half if we have it all the way simplified. And it wants us to explain why you shaded 2/3 of the yellow sections blue rather than shading 2/3 of the whole. And we are shading that blue because we are shading 2 out of 3 of the whole piece of paper, because that's how much she was using in the word problem that we were reading. So what are you finding if in a model shows a half of the sheet of the paper shaded yellow and a third of the shaded section shaded blue? So if we're doing a half and then a third, so a half, we're finding 1/2 times 1/3. So let's go ahead and just solve that one real quick. 1/2 times 1/3, multiply straight across the top. 1 times 1 is 1, and 2 times 3 is 6. See, I told you we were going to love multiplying fractions way more than what we would do to divide fractions or to add or subtract fractions. Dividing is just as easy. So it says you can find the parts many different ways. And so they're kind of taking a look here, use the steps. And so she says, shade the model to show 3/4 of a whole. 1, 2, 3. How many 1/4 pieces did we shade? 3. And then it says to find 1/3 of 3/4 of the circle. So 1/3 of 3 1/4 pieces are shaded. And so they want us to then, I can shade it here so we can see them. To find 1/3 of 3/4, circle 1/3 of 3 1/4 pieces that are shaded. So if you take a look, we would have to cut this so that every single one of these was cut into thirds. And if we did that, we would have 12 pieces on the bottom. And we'd circle 1/3 of those. So let's take a look at the math. We can do 1 times 3 is 3. And 3 times 4 is 12. So we would circle just one section of that. And then they're saying we can shade 3/4 and then divide. Oh, this is the one they're telling to do that. Divide it by thirds. And then you would say how many 12ths of a piece. Sorry, I jumped ahead over to this one. No matter what, I think what you're going to find the easiest is to multiply straight across to get 3/12. Now, I will tell you 3/12 can be simplified. You should know to make 3. The only way we can do it is 1 times 3. So then I want you to take a look and see, and threes, does 3 make 12 in any way? You should start to be saying, yes, 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 I know those multiplication facts. 3 times 4, so that matches the 3. So we would divide this by 3/3, which is 1/4. And if you take a look here, we circled 1/4 of the pie or the circle. All right. Now, the reason why I'm pointing out some of these shadings is because you are going to find that some of these shadings and drawings are going to show up on Think Central, on Study Island, and even on your PSSAs. They'll say, what is this? As long as they give you this, you can say, all right, I can find this. But when they don't give it to you, you're going to have to kind of figure it out to see what the problem was. So 3 times 1 is 3, and 5 times 3 is 15. So really what they're taking a look at, if you take a look, is 3 out of 15. So it's the green part that is the double shaded. And that would be hard if you were just looking at that and going, what part is double? What colors did they use? But if you remember, they used yellow and blue make green. So I think that's why they're doing that. Now, I hope you're seeing, I want us to get used to that simplifying. 3 makes 1 times 3, and there's anything times 3 that makes 15. And I hope you're going, yes, it would be 5. So we're going to divide this by 3/3 to simplify this down to 1/5. Now let's go ahead and actually just multiply these. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 5 is 15. And so it wants us to circle 2/3 of the 3/5. And we got 6/15. So if you take a look here, we're going to need to simplify this to actually see that problem that they're talking about. And I know 6 is 2 times 3. Ooh, 3, 3, 3. I know 3 times 5. So we're going to divide by 3s to get this down to 2. 6 divided by 3 equals 2, and 15 divided by 3 equals 5. So we will circle 2 of those. If you look, there was 2/3. There was 3 of those, and we would circle 2 of them. So that's 2/5. So here's my deal with this. Go ahead and cross out the draw a model. You can just multiply those straight across. I do want you to simplify. If you need help with simplifying still, you need to be getting that help. There are adults in the room that can help you simplify your fractions. That is going to be the biggest mistake that you're going to make when you're doing these. Straight across, easy to do. And then you need to learn to simplify them. All right, so go ahead and finish up page 441, 442, and then your homework will be 443 and 444. Let's take a look. Do you need to draw a model? No way. So you can go ahead and cross that off. I do want you to try to simplify, and there is no problem here at the bottom. So these two word problems you should know how to do. Remember when it says of, that's your key that you are multiplying. So go ahead and give chapter 7, lesson 4 a try. And I will be checking to see how you're doing on Think Central.